Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next 2 hours, along with Nick here in the studio with me.
Oh, this is incredible, Amnon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And Gal is here.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
He's not in the
And
studio.
Mike is here. And Mike is here.
You might want to turn Nick's microphone down to normal level and turn yours on.
He's sitting like an inch from it. That's the problem.
care.
I don't know how to, but we'll do it in a
Telling
second.
you how this works, Amnon.
All right, we'll do it in a second. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is made possible by VMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. So now, let's see. Okay, so you talk?
Oh, I'm talking.
Is it too loud, Mike?
Yeah, you're knocking us out of our chairs. Turn down the aux send to coming back to us.
Why don't I turn down the mic? I mean,
You have to go by the VU meter.
talk, Nick?
Hello, good morning.
Nick, turn down the aux
It's
send on
high,
your mic.
I don't know which one to turn down, Mike.
I
Turn one. Just start
off
turning
top of
knobs.
my head, I don't know which one it is.
You know, so we can't even hear Amnon.
So I guess I'll.
Oh, you saying you can't hear me?
We can now.
Oh,
I'll just talk like this, further away. Is that better?
Yes.
Except that it's picking up Amnon. Sounds like he's in a barrel.
Well,
oh, shoot. All right.
I'm sure it's fine.
Is it okay to your standard mic?
Not even close.
Not even close.
No.
Oh, well.
But we don't care anymore about quality. Just go ahead. It doesn't matter. It's just podcasting.
Okay. If you say so. I wonder if this is the talk, Nick, and
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Well, Nick, I'm doing just great, thanks.
oh, that's not it then.
Okay. Well,
How are you doing this morning, Nick?
doing fine.
Great.
Yeah, but there's a feedback. You can hear. I can hear Mike
Coming back?
Through the
Yeah.
speakers. It's through but see, Nick's mic is so loud, it's picking up everything in the room, including Amnon.
Nick's mic is about
I
half.
don't care where the knob. Don't tell me about knobs. I don't want to hear about knobs.
He's not talking about knobs. He's talking about faders.
I don't care about faders. I care about what it sounds like.
Okay, I wonder if it's mine then. I mean, do you still hear weird things, Gal?
When nobody's talking. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3.
Sounds okay now.
I wonder why, if there are two mics here, it's different than when there's one mic. Makes no sense, does it?
Well, we'll
You should be
need
able
to
to
test
inject.
it afterwards. Yeah.
No. All right. So, what is happening? Nothing.
Not much. Not much.
Quiet. Everything is quiet.
Yeah, everything is
right.
quiet until the MPAA will start knocking up on doors. So.
Uh-oh. Coming after
Well,
you.
Well, not me, but not the. It doesn't seem that they're after the consumer yet. But Amnon shared with me an article which was very interesting. Had a couple of interesting numbers. There is the National Telecommunication and Information Administration, and they had something called a call for comment, and the MPAA responded with a 40-page document advocating modernization of online policies in response to rampant illicit activity. Basically, they want to have the ISPs, the hosting services, and any one of the infrastructure providers. They want to incorporate all of them in a scheme that will allow stopping piracy sources. They're not chasing Kodi, but they are chasing. But Kodi is mentioned a couple of times in the document. They are chasing repositories for Kodi add-ons that provide piracy services, the streaming services that hold the media, and basically they want to make sure that they can still keep on making more money instead of sharing it with the pirates, of course. So the most interesting aspect of the articles, though, were the numbers, and they're talking about an incline in the amount of people who are canceling traditional TV, and that is going faster than the predictions, and that was very interesting. I think let's see if I can find the details.
What do you think what do you think they're actually going to do? I mean, obviously, how do they go about shutting down these repositories and
they
whatnot?
have? That's the thing. They don't have a solution right now. The only solution currently available for them is civil suits, right? And they want to make it criminalized. They want it to be so that that this goes to criminal court instead of a civil court. But I'm unsure about. So most of the document is about. Do you hear that?
Yeah, that's one of the last times that you're gonna hear that tone from Skype, the ringing. Next time, in the next few weeks. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, it's me.
In the next few weeks, when we have to upgrade Skype, it's gonna sound really bad.
Okay. So where was I? What are they gonna do?
Yeah.
They are. So as for the going to do to the violators, that's what they're asking. They're asking to start treating it more like a criminal crime and not just something that they need to pursue in civil court. That's one aspect. The other aspect is technically how to actually catch those, and they're talking about like these overreaching systems which are interconnected between all the services.
So some big data stuff, maybe catching.
Yeah. They want to have the search providers, the ISPs, the hosting services, and they wanna enforce all of these parties to be compelled to assist in stopping and blocking the pirates.
Well, I wonder. I mean, I don't know I don't know how this all begins. I mean, piracy's been an issue for what?
Yeah, I
30
mean,
years now?
they're doing some of it. They're just trying to get the government help them enforce laws and rules, right? That the service providers will be compelled to abide by. It'll be interesting. I mean, it's always been an interesting field, right? This is the MPAA, traditional cable TV. They are fighting a battle that if they don't know, it's too sad, but they know they're going to lose at the end. They're just trying to stretch the end as far as they can. This is what happened with the when Napster appeared on the scene, right? It was fighting something that they, and I hope they did know, because if they didn't know, then that makes it even a sadder story. But this is something they cannot win. It will never return to the good old days, right? It will never return to the previous way of distribution, of control, and of power. And on those old traditional conservative channels, right? They're going to lose. The revenue is going to diminish. They need to figure out how to, one, play the game in the digital arena, and two, they need as much time to prepare as possible. So they're attacking anything that they can. Now, it's not that what they're protecting isn't worth protecting, or it's wrong or whatever, right? I mean, they are the owners of the rights. It's not that I'm saying that they're wrong. It's just a battle that eventually they'll lose. But they're fighting it. They're fighting it now.
Well, Alan makes a good point in chat. He says and it kind of falls into what I was going to say to you, Gal, was it's hard to buy services when the media companies reserve rights and deny service. It seems like the MPA's better solution to the problem would be to whip all of these providers and copyright owners and producers and whatnot into shape and say, let's make your service available for a decent price, instead of, I mean,
I agree.
They're not going to win this battle. It's, as you said, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. So one of the interesting, there were actually two articles. One about the MPAA new proposals, and right now it's just a document, right? There's nothing. There's not even a decision based on that, but it definitely shows First, it shows the audience that the MPAA is chasing. And unlike the music industry, it is not chasing personal consumers yet of piracy, right? Not anyone who's bought a Kodi, but they do want to chase those who sell a Kodi box packed with already pirated piracy related add-ons, for example. Okay, so their proposals all make sense on the consumer side. I am, at this point, I am not criminalized, at least not in their eyes. Okay, they're not going for the Johns, they're going for the other side. So in that term, it is not as scary as previous attempts from the past from the music industry that we saw. Nobody's gonna knock on a grandma's door because her grandson downloaded a song. Not yet, at least. As for the cord cutting side, that's why it was interesting reading these both, because it shows the trend and it shows that they're losing anyway, and it's not because of piracy. It's because of perception of value. And people feel they are paying way, way, way too much for content. On that aspect, I don't know. I don't know how this will go in the long run, because what we see from the cord-cutting legit services, right? The Google TV, the YouTube TV, the PlayStation View, Sling TV, that they cost approximately the same. Some of them start slower, but afterwards they raise the tariffs, right? And so it seems like they're not on the right way yet. But the battle between one, trying to stop piracy, and the numbers are ridiculous. They're talking about piracy making, I don't know, $800 million or something
Steve,
a year, right?
hold on a sec.
Yeah, there's some bad
Steve,
feedback.
you're causing an echo, Steve.
Why am I doing that? Stop it, Steve. Echo.
Go
Where's
ahead,
the
Gal.
echo?
Okay, so they're talking about less than let me find the numbers, because when it comes to numbers, I'd rather say them closer to reality than what I'm talking about.
I would just make them up. That's what I do.
Yeah, well, 75% of stats are made up, so this is about the card coding, and this is about, yeah, so they're talking about 840 million per year. The piracy ecosystem generates 840 million, 840 million per year, but they're talking about the overall market for media in the billions, right? Tens of billions even. So it is not a huge chunk, right? But they are scared it'll grow. And it's still a rather big chunk, but unlike the MPAA, which are organized and they have a lot of control, and they have lobbyists, they have real political power, pirates will never really come together and work together, right? That's part of how this system, this scheme is built. So either sides are going to win, not the pirates and not the MPAA. I really hope that us as consumers, that we'll end up with better services and better equipment, better tools to reach the media that we want.
Okay, so when
yeah.
when you buy something like the Kodi box, what's in it that's quote unquote pirated? I thought all it has is just links to places.
No, the way you would pirate content on Kodi is, after Kodi is installed, you can't really consume any pirated material. What you need to do is you need to hook up to, you need to get add-ons that link to pirated content.
Okay, so that's exactly what I'm saying. If you have a Kodi box and you're not connected to the internet, period, what pirated material do you have in your hand at that point?
Oh no, you don't have anything.
Okay.
But that's what MPAA wants to make sure that. Let's say you ordered a box from Amazon, right?
Yeah.
And you can go and buy the box from one of two sellers. One seller is selling you, hey, I got this amazing box. It's based on Android and it's run Kodi, and you can do whatever you want with it. Okay? Vague. The other one is selling, hey, watch live TV free, watch any movie you want, right?
Right.
All you need to do is just plug it when you get it home. The difference between these two, the first one, he is protecting himself. He's providing you basically with a very smart, capable computer that is hooked up to the TV. And if you want to get stuff that you can't get otherwise, it's on you.
Right.
You'll need to know how to configure Kodi to accept add-ons that come from the outside, because
Okay.
Kodi as an ecosystem does not have that. You'll need to know where to get those add-ons, which are being taken down left and right every time, right? What they do is they target a very popular one the moment it becomes popular, right? So, and suddenly it's no longer hosted anywhere. You can no longer get the add-on, and even if you get it, sometimes it relies on services that they run. Those services don't run anymore, etc. The other one is he's selling you a pirated box, right? And all that specific person, that specific seller, all he's profiting on is the margin on the work he did to install that those images with all the pirated add-ons already installed. So he says, hey, buying the Android box and Kodi cost me, I don't know, $50, $60, right?
Mm-hmm.
I worked on it on building an image a couple of hours, and now it looks different. It works with pirated material. You just type a name of the movie or a name of TV series, and bam, it's there because
Okay.
it's streaming online automatically, and it finds the sources and all that. And for the work that I did, and he didn't write the add-ons, he just packaged
Right. He put it
right?
together.
Yeah, he's probably charging a surcharge of another $30-$40, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's profiting on piracy. And that's what the MPAA wants to target. Right now, it's really gray area about whether he's at fault or not, because he's not providing the content. And the laws, and Mike can correct me here if I'm totally off. The laws right now are focusing on those who actually provide the copyrighted content,
Mm-hmm.
right?
If
So
if I could add something there, he's profiting on the potential for piracy.
right. So MPAA say that guy, I want to stop him, and then they're saying the person who wrote the software, the add-on that goes and finds copyrighted material over the internet for free, I want to stop them as well. And I want to stop the hosting services that host the actual files, and I want to, or at least not stop the hosting service so much as make sure that the hosting service can stop that and will be forced to do so. It's not their choice, right?
Right.
And it goes on and on and on.
Okay. All right. No, it makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean the proposal makes sense, especially from the point of view of the holders of the rights, right? Definitely makes sense. Yeah. I mean, an artist, when they create content, they want to profit on it.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
Well,
and
look,
I don't think there's a single person watching pirated content that is completely oblivious of that.
Right. And look what they did with the music. They were going after people during the music days and all that. The time when it was popular to do it. And then what did the musicians do? A lot of them went and said, no, we want these places to get it because this is how we get to be known. And they sort of like, and until these companies, these organizations get together and decide and come up with ways that the consumer can get the materials in different ways and doesn't pay as much, it's going to continue. Yeah, that's because it's the only way to get it sometimes for some people.
Yeah, that's true.
What they're trying to do is just make it illegal to put something on a piece of software that potentially, and that's the most important word here, potentially could make the user a pirate.
Right.
Well, how can you potentially stop somebody from potentially doing something? It's ludicrous.
Oh, I agree. I understand their intentions. It's not that I agree with the methods, right? They cannot, and that is part of the document. I haven't read all of it, but they do address how to preserve legitimate use of the tools, right? They don't want to attack legitimate users because that'll be counterproductive, right? They'll just, they'll scare away people instead of showing them that all they're doing is just, preserving their own. So definitely.
Yep.
We have a word in the UK, and you probably do over there too, facilitating. Oh, and it's such an ambiguous word. You remember the troubles I went through a few years ago, and they were trying to get me on facilitating. Well, I mean, look up the word facilitating and look how ambiguous it is. It's ridiculous to think that such a wide berth word can be used to, narrow something down that they're trying to do. I can understand why they're doing it. I absolutely can, wholeheartedly. But the way I would equate it, it's like a car manufacturer. They know full well that they're making cars that will exceed the national speed limit. But does anyone go after them? No. It's your fault for pushing the pedal too far. So, this is what I'm equating it to. Just because of what you do in your car is you speed, you can't hold the manufacturer responsible for that.
Right, but when they tried to go after the guy with pressing the pedal too far, right? They got grandmas and kids and were demonized. So they're going after the manufacturer.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't do it in car manufacturers, so they've got to draw back a bit. You can't do this with just because it's entertainment industry. What are they, the current day mafia? Goodness sake.
Well, I mean, every large organization in a way is a current day mafia, right?
All right. Let's see where we're going next. Or does anybody have anything else they want to bring up?
Yeah, I do. Don't
Okay.
leave going onto your desktop computer for months. Because you do like I did today. You switch it on, haven't done for months. The batteries are flat in the keyboard. The batteries are flat in the mouse. Why isn't anything working? Then you get a huge, great Windows update. And then Skype says, oh, no, you've got to update. And then it's like, where is everything? And then where's all my groups gone? I had 2 groups that I was part of. Don't know what a group is.
I love
I
Skype.
couldn't get the link to get into the Hangouts. Thank you, Nick, for sorting that out. But now I've just pulled my headphones off. It's been a frustrating morning.
Yeah, I'm going to hold as long as I can on updating.
Interestingly enough, Steve, your audio sounds fantastic. It's just this old guy. It's amazing to me that you're so far away and this audio is just stellar.
For once.
Well, for once.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not totally unrelated. That's not. No, go ahead, Steve. Finish your sentence.
It's nice to know that you can connect with somebody literally on the other side of the planet and have great audios if you're sitting next to them. Try sitting next to them.
Well, I'm sitting next to Amnon right now, and I was gonna say for once,
we don't sound good.
For once, I'm gonna have to agree with refusing to update something. This new Skype is terrible. It really is. And normally I give Amnon crap because he likes to complain about every little update, but I'm gonna have to agree with him on this one. It's impossible to use. Nothing works. It's fine on the phone.
One window.
It's fine on the phone.
I had the Skype chat open into the show, and I was like, well, Nick's going to send me a message. Where am I supposed to see that? You got to click all over the place to find things. I didn't realize you were going to send it in the chat on the text chat, but I got it.
I
That's
sent
the
it. I
important
sent it
thing.
in Skype and on that. I don't know if you ever saw it on Skype.
I had to click around before I eventually figured out how to find a message from somebody else. Yeah, but
Yeah.
why did they do it? I know they want to make it look the same on a mobile as it does, but not everyone wants to look at something in a little
Right.
screen and have to swipe. Because you can't swipe on a computer.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the rationale was, but it's unfortunate to say the least. To Discord we
There's-
go.
They're
Superior.
stupid.
Well, you set it up.
Okay.
I would have no problem with Discord.
Okay.
If
I don't think I've ever used it. How does it work compared with Skype?
It's a little bit different. There's more. It's more of like. I think Gall has attributed to ICQ. I never used ICQ, but there's all of these public rooms, public and private communities and groups, as small as 2 or 3 people and as big as thousands. But there's also a friends list inside of it, so you can call and text message and communicate with your friends, but on the same time you can be part of these larger groups and then these smaller subgroups inside of those groups. So it's kind of a hybrid between like an IRC and Skype almost.
So, but here we are using, of course, Google Hangouts for the show. Is Discord something that we would consider using for the show and to replace Skype?
You would probably wouldn't use it for the show because it doesn't. All the video windows are independent, so you'd have to capture all of them, and they shift around when people hang up and join, and that's always been the issue. So
How do you
Probably not.
handle that, Donovan? Do you have typically just one guest at a time? So
you
there's
don't
a delay.
use it
Take
for
a while
video.
to respond.
no, we use vMix Call for video for infection. Then
Captures? I haven't met any captures with Discord. Have you?
it does on the web version.
Oh, okay.
Their mobile app's fantastic.
Is there a client?
There
Yeah.
is.
Installable client.
Yeah.
There's a client, but the client is essentially just the web app. But it works well. The mobile app is really good. It's super easy to use.
And we use so much mobile.
I mean, you would if Skype mobile wasn't so bad, you'd use that.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I like how Skype mobile works, but I don't like how it takes over phone calls.
What does that mean?
No, it acts like it's a phone call coming in when somebody calls you on Skype. I don't always want that.
Mhm.
When somebody calls you on Skype and you have Skype mobile installed, it acts like it's a phone call going to your phone. I don't always want that.
John is asking what's the address for the Hangout. Well, we don't give that out because if you log in, you're on the air.
But you can call.
Yeah, I mean, you can call in. The only people in the Hangout are the people you're seeing.
Oh, and my dog,
And the dog. And what's your dog's name?
Bobby.
Bobby.
3 next month. Yeah, I'm far too handsome to come on the mic. I would just everyone would be swooning.
You're far too handsome to come on the mic. Well, that's
Nick.
it's interesting because I'm hearing you right now.
Cam, I meant Cam. You
There
know what I
you
mean?
go.
No, I usually say I'm far too ugly to come on Cam, but I thought for a change, I thought I'd pat myself on the back.
There you go.
But it had the same effect.
Yeah. All right.
So I've got a lady who is pinging me on Skype, not Skype, on Twitter and on Facebook, wanting me to help her with Mix Minus, and she's just going on and on and on and on. I don't know if I've got the energy anymore.
Why don't you send her Amnon's way?
Yeah, let Amnon help her.
Sorry, Amnon. I apologize.
I
He's
can
really
take it.
good
That's
on-
fine. See, that's thick skin.
I
Nick
mean,
was a little hot to me then.
Sorry.
That's okay. I know when you get excited, you get a bit louder.
I'm recording it so they can hear how bad it is. So anyway, I don't know. I just don't have the energy anymore. Isn't there a video out there somewhere that explains mix minus? I mean, Chase, whatever his
Your
name is. No,
y-
not who
your
did one.
your
Ray did one.
interview with Andrew should still be on the what do you call it? I
It's
forgot
on
now.
YouTube, but the only issue with Mike's interview with Andrew is the I don't believe you demo it. You just talk about it, right?
I don't remember doing it, so I guess.
Yeah, you did something very detailed about
Oh,
mix minus.
you've got an article.
On mix minus.
Yeah, somewhere.
I don't
There
remember.
are YouTube clips out there that run through it, but
They're all bad. Every one of them's got an error in it.
they're complicated and not really holding your hand. No, you do this now. Now you do that.
Ray
because each
Ortega's
sentence is
got
slightly different.
Ray Ortega's got the one I think that you're referencing, Mike.
Has an error in it.
Okay, well, it's the most viewed one on YouTube.
Good. I happen to know. I happen to know when it was being created, and happen to know who provided input to Ray on how audio works. I'm very familiar with it. Even whenever IAIB went down, Ray contacted me for the articles that I wrote because he wanted to post them on his website, and I told him to have at it. I'm perfectly glad for him
AIB went down?
to do it.
Did you say AIB went down?
IAIB disappeared for a while.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been there.
Yeah, it may still be gone. I don't know.
No, it's up.
Hmm?
I said it's up.
It was. I enjoyed posting stuff there. It was helpful, but all these things take time.
Yeah. Okay, so Facebook is reportedly rolling out its downvote button to a wider group of users in the United States. Well, let's guess who are they giving it to. The feature began appearing on the service's mobile app without a formal company announcement, and we only found out about it by browsing on our phones. That's from who is that from? Came from Slash that, but it's some I didn't include that. But anyway, so they're going to allow you to downvote posts.
To make the timeline even more confusing than it already is.
I mean,
Well, you can have both sides of the coin, haven't you? You can't have just upvotes, otherwise people will think everything's wonderful, and the world isn't.
yeah.
Are you saying a downvote as in rating content, or a downvote as in like a
Content.
dislike button?
I'd probably dislike because they've got to have some. It will only be activated on conservative accounts.
That's what I was saying. They're going to send it only to liberal accounts,
Well, the downvote.
so they can downvote all the other ones.
The downvote thing is a Reddit concept, and the way that Reddit works is you post something to a subreddit, and people go through and they can either upvote the content
Right.
or downvote the content.
Yeah.
And the upvotes and downvotes determine how many people see your post. If it gets
Right.
a lot of upvotes, it moves itself up.
And then you get all these.
and then you get comments. So it depends. I guess so. If they're meaning a downvote, that probably means it's gonna make content less likely to show up in the feed, which
Yeah.
they've already got a huge problem with. So that'll be interesting.
That's the thing. It's nice when you say, okay, the people will rate it. If people want to see it, then it's okay. If people don't want to see it, then we're going to push it down. But then you get all those organizations that send out an email after the post and say, everybody, please go over there and upvote it.
Well, the thing that I don't really understand about Facebook is I am friends with, and I don't really use Facebook a whole lot. I've got an account, and I'm on Facebook a lot, but I
Mhm.
don't post. I lurk. I just read and scroll through it. So I'm never going to upvote or downvote content, meaning things.
Never say never.
Well, I don't actively use Facebook, so I don't see myself doing that. So does that mean now if one of my friends' posts gets a bunch of downvotes from other people, I may not see it now?
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
that's pretty
exactly.
stupid. I mean, it's not.
Isn't that the way it is on Reddit?
But Reddit, you go to the front page, you're seeing the whole content across the entire website. On Facebook, I'm friends and like pages that I have some interest in, or else I wouldn't.
Okay. I
wouldn't
did
like
not.
it.
I did not get to the
So
nitty-gritty.
I don't think it'll affect the post from your friends from disappearing from your stream, your newsfeed, but it is probably going to affect whether something in a group, right, is going to be pushed to your feed or not.
Hmm.
But the most interesting thing would be in Reddit when somebody upvotes and downvotes, there's no identity between who did that.
Exactly.
In Facebook, every like was identified. So like emotion that they had added later. So the question is whether the downvotes are identified. That'll be interesting. I don't think anybody did that yet, like showing who downvoted something.
No, they don't show it.
Okay, so that makes more sense, but that means that, as you said, it's easy to also organize, right?
Yeah.
But it is a feature that has been requested by end users from the day they met Facebook, right? Why only up? Why no down? Facebook tried to mitigate that with the emotions, but that wasn't enough. So let's see. In a way, there is a downvote, right? There is a report link
Spam.
or something. Or spam.
Or go to another website.
No, what I mean is actively doing
Yeah.
something negative about the article that is being shown or whatever, the content. So you could have reported it, and I'm guessing that by reporting it, a single report will not take something down. But if they get repeated reports, right, by showing downvotes, they're probably just they found a way of visualizing discontent and letting the poster know that they're gonna have trouble getting their post out. It'll be weird because it's something new to the culture, and social media is all about culture of use, right?
Yeah.
Because when somebody asks you what Facebook is like today, or what is, I don't know, you're always comparing to other services. When you break down the pieces of the service, they're pretty much technologically wise, right? They're pretty much similar. There's a lot of similarities. There's not a big difference. Discord is a great example. Discord is a fantastic tool, right? But it is really, really, really used in the gaming site.
Yep.
And it is far more powerful than just being a chat for gamers. Okay, I mean, it is a huge contender, functional wise, to enterprise software like Slack services, right? So, but it's focused. The culture is focused around gaming. So you get the nuances are all about that. Facebook has never been about downvoting. It'll start a war that will die down at the end, but and will settle down. But when something new like this is introduced, it's gonna be interesting.
We'll wait and see if it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, both platforms, Facebook and Twitter, suffered big setbacks financially this week. But the thing that got my attention here was that I mean, we can talk about the losses, but it was reported. Where is it? Come on.
As he shuffles through his papers to find the correct
I
article.
know. Oh, I mean, again, unless you go real deep into it, you have to go by what the talk is. It goes, Twitter is limiting the visibility of prominent Republicans in search results, a technique known as shadow banning. In what it says is a side effect of its attempts to improve the quality of discourse on the platform. The Republican Party chair, Ronna McDaniel, several conservative Republican congressmen, and Donald Trump Jr.'s spokesman no longer appear in the auto-populated drop-down search box on Twitter. Vice News has learned, and it's a shift that diminishes their reach on the platform. And it's the same one being deployed, same one being deployed against prominent racists to limit their visibility. The profiles continue to appear when conducting a full search, but not in the more convenient and visible drop-down bar. And the accounts appear to also populate if you already follow that person. Is this, is this done on purpose? We have to say yes because of all their history. But it may just be that they are in a way to create some kind of an algorithm that will take care of these things. And this is just a byproduct. But if it is, then why is it only conservatives that it's limiting?
But nobody said it was only.
Yeah, they're saying it's well.
No, they said it. You are looking for that, so you find.
No,
that.
I mean, I'm
guessing it affects across the board.
I did not see, unless they're not complaining about it. I did not see any reports that said that liberals are being.
Well,
so
there isn't any trend of liberals complaining about media coverage.
Okay,
in general,
well,
right?
yeah.
It doesn't even exist. It's not a news item.
So yeah, if
we
it
wouldn't
does,
know.
if it does both, then I can understand that it'll get fixed.
So I'm guessing that an article like this will probably prompt somebody to, take a look a bit closer at the data and try to compare. And in about 2 weeks, we'll probably learn that it's pretty much the same.
Okay, well, in that case, it'll be fine.
But we don't know. I don't know. I mean, you might be right?
At this
I'm
point,
not saying.
At this point, we don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if and now that we're talking about this, so Twitter shares fell 21% last Friday, as the economy reported the user growth had turned negative, even as its quarterly results beat Wall Street expectations. The decline was even greater than Facebook's almost 19% plunge in shares after the social media giant reported disappointing results. And what happened on Facebook is that they experienced one of the worst days as a publicly traded company. Facebook lost about 119 billion with a B of its value on Thursday, marking the biggest one-day loss in U.S. market history for any company. But
it also had the highest value. I mean, and it's an ethereal stock. I mean, that's
I'd like to think that it's because
what I'm saying is that the financial aspects of that are, to me, not as dramatic as the reason for the decline, which is good. People are getting tired of their crap.
that's what I was saying. I'd like to believe that it's because users are waking up to the fact that, hey, this is not what we thought it is. They have way too many problems, way too many controversies, and we don't know if we can rely on them. I don't know.
I can answer that for you. You cannot rely on it. If you rely on Twitter or Facebook for getting both sides of a political story, you will be disappointed. We don't advocate, our side doesn't advocate to silence the other side. Just get both sides out there. And of course, that's what they won't do.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the fake news media is always playing it
Well, they're both fake.
as yeah, that's where we get it, and that's what the truth is.
They're both
Well.
fake. It all turned into a boxing match.
So Nick,
Yes, sir.
Special.
you're from what? You
I didn't hear him.
you experienced this when you were up in New York.
Yeah, I did.
So I mean, when did they order them? I think they ordered them out on Thursday,
60 days I have.
and they said that we're talking about charter, and it says the article goes yesterday. It was so that was on Wednesday, I guess. It was reported that Charter Communications could lose its license in New York because of its failure to meet merger-related broadband deployment commitments. And today, which is a day later, according to Ars Technica, the New York State Public Service Commission voted to revoke, kick him out, take it from there.
Yeah, so the deal with the Spectrum Time Warner merger was that New York State, I don't remember how it all went down. Either Time Warner was already agreeing to a certain amount of, it had to do with rollouts of cable internet, broadband internet to what they called rural communities or rural areas. I don't know if that was a Time Warner promise before Spectrum bought, who owns Spectrum? Charter Spectrum. I don't know if that was before Charter or when Charter took over. That was what they said they were going to do, but they said something like 180, I think it was 187,000 customers in rural area was the number, and they had 2 years to do that. And after the 2-year mark or whatever amount of time, they'd only done to about 97,000. They were a little under 100,000 short. And the commission said, well, you didn't meet the agreement, so get the hell out. Find another provider to get the service, but you're not allowed here anymore. So they've got 60 days to make a deal with the state or find somebody else to provide the service. Which I mean, I don't understand how that's going to work.
I don't either. I mean, it just seems to me like they're screwing the residents.
Yeah.
But Mike,
what they will do is they can, in 60 days, they can give the contract to another vendor to have a later effective date, because they will hold on to the existing subscriber base until they're kicked out.
that this is one thing here that I don't understand about what the article goes. It says it is ordering, it is ordering Charter to sell the former TWC system that it purchased in New York, and it's bringing an enforcement action in state Supreme Court to seek additional penalties. How can you force somebody to sell?
Easily. You're regulated. You're regulated. That's what the government does.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they are regulated.
Well, look what Obama did to General Motors. He took over General Motors.
Well,
I just, as Amnon, because my original reaction to this was yes, good, screw Charter.
yeah, screw Charter.
But as Amnon said, if this goes through, which who knows if it will or not, but if it goes through,
a lot of people are getting left.
And it could be the consumer is the one that's really screwed. And I love how New York State and all their fine wisdoms fine them $3 million. That's a real fine for Charter. They don't have that kind of money to be spending. So
Yeah, poor things.
yeah. So the real kick in the face was the 60-day notice to essentially pack up shop and get out of the state. Now there are a couple of other providers that could take over.
Yeah, but the thing here is we also have to think about the fact that, like Mike said, they'll find another vendor.
Yeah.
Other vendors who are going to go in there may not want to do what Charter said they're going to do, because Charter had to do it because they weren't all over.
Well,
Not just in New York.
But I assume that'll be part of the agreement with
Well-
this new, if whoever takes over, and Charter's got, excuse me, they've got 60 days to
Yeah,
give a plan to
right,
New York State.
right. They
So
may come up with something.
They may come
say,
up with
okay,
something.
you know what, we're going to give you another 2 months.
There is an ISP in the city, New York City. It's called Optimum.
Mhm.
They're like they're in New York City, New Jersey area, and they're pretty big. Obviously, Verizon is in there. The thing that they're taking over the equipment. They're not going to be rolling out their whole new
Right.
set of things. So who the hell knows what?
Why
what's
isn't
gonna happen.
Optimum all over New York?
Come on, guys. I've tried to convince you not to be so naive. Don't you understand that when you get into New York politics, about 80% of what you hear is a shakedown?
Yeah, so they're making it sound like it's.
They have no intentions of doing what's right for the consumer.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, they can say, yeah, okay, we have it, we're doing it. But now everybody's prices is going to go up.
Oh, that's going to happen.
So there goes again.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
knows?
I mean,
Yeah,
but
we
I
don't
would
know.
be investing in cable TV because I believe they're ultimately going to go away, at least in the current model, kind of like what Gall was talking about.
Yep.
I just came across Mike. I turned down the. I think I turned down the aux send a little bit. Is that helping at all?
So far, it sounds better. Turn it all the way off and let's see if it goes away.
Does it go all the way now if I
Yes,
turn
that's
it
the
on?
right one.
Perfect.
Okay.
I
good.
just came across something that Amnon, you and I have talked about, and Mike and I have talked about. It's on hackaday.com. And the
Mhm.
title is The Return of Radio Shack. So,
Mhm.
Hobbytown, which is I don't know if they have one here.
Hobby
No.
Town?
Hobbytown.
Never heard of it.
It's a store. They're big on like RC planes and those little models and stuff that you paint and stuff like that.
Okay.
There was one in New York when I was growing up, but the ARL is reporting that Hobbytown has 147 U.S. locations. Obviously, not a whole lot, but 50 of those 147 locations in Hobbytown will host what they are calling a Radio Shack Express outlet. Each outlet will be up to 500 square feet of retail space devoted to electronic components that would be used for Hobbytown's core customer base. So it seems like maybe the return of those metal rolling carts that were full of electrical components.
Interesting.
What?
I don't know.
What'd you say, Steve?
I say that's interesting. When Radio Shack closed over here, because I used to work for Radio Shack Tandy in the UK, the only other place we had was Maplin's, and they've closed down now. So there's nowhere in the local place that you can go for a resistor, capacitor, BNC connector. There's nowhere to go for it now.
Right.
Same thing here. And Steve, I know you've been absent for a little while, but I've started getting into radio engineering a little bit more, and that is at some point going to require going into a store and buying some type of component.
Yeah.
And as of right now, my component is Mike Phillips's den, because and all joking aside, and Mike and I joke about it, but it really
It's not
is
funny.
there's nowhere
Right.
to go. I even asked the broadcast engineer in Wilmington where he buys all his stuff, and he gave me the name of some online website.
Yeah.
I
Well,
had
it's stupid. If you need a pack of resistors now, you get a pack of resistors for like 15 cents, and it costs you £5 to deliver it.
Yeah,
or
well, and
$5
it
to
comes
deliver it.
5 days later when you needed it 6 hours ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a call Friday morning from one of the owners of the garages here, Import Performance, that I work with. And John is saying, do you have an 8 ohm resistor? I said, probably, but I don't know where to find, it's probably, I don't have any. He says, I need to get one. I said, yeah, that's a problem. He said, yeah, there's no more Radio Shack.
That would have been something they'd sell in one of those little, and it wasn't big. It was two big rolling cases
Yeah.
that were full of almost all their components that they sold.
Yeah.
That I think that would be sufficient for most people.
It was the bread and butter. That's what made the money, because you wouldn't believe the stuff that they would buy in for like pennies and sell for a couple of dollars. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But I've signed the Official Secrets Act, so I'm not allowed to talk about it.
I wish Best Buy would figure out how to. I wish Best Buy would do something similar. They could if they wanted to.
It needs to have a reputable big name brand across the country to. I mean, even if they just brought in 3 racks of, large selling bit items, they wouldn't lose on it. They would win on it definitely.
Well, Best Buy is the only electronics store that's nationwide at this point. Circuit City doesn't exist. Fry's has got limited locations.
Very limited.
Tiger Direct has got maybe a couple retail stores. Best Buy is the only thing that's left. I think.
Sorry to butt in with stupid questions, but
Sit up.
Hobbytown
is a toy chain?
It's not a toy chain. They sell like RC airplanes and model. I mean, they may sell they sell like erector sets and those little science kits and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the one that I went to. It was right by my grandparents' house growing up. So whenever I'd go over there during the summer, my grandfather and I would always go over and buy. I mean, you could buy a little set where you could make a little radio, and it was.
Yeah.
It was just little things like that. But their big thing was RC airplanes and RC cars and stuff like that. You could buy little solar panels and things of that nature.
Yeah.
There's one in Fayetteville. That's the closest one here.
Oh, there is?
And then there's one in Morrisville, north of Charlotte.
Oh, that's.
And then there's one in Hickory.
Oh, not Morrisville.
What is it?
Mooresville.
Morrisville here? I mean.
It's Morrisville. It's north of Charlotte.
Mooresville, not Morrisville.
Okay.
Mooresville.
And then there's one in Hickory, Asheville, Johnson City.
Interesting.
No.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll have to see if the one in Fayetteville is going to have it, so I can go down there and see what they've got.
Mike. Is he muted?
I'm not sure.
Yes, I'm not.
If there is an EMP, what happens to all your stuff there in the background?
It'll still be there.
Okay. Will anything that will it be useless?
I'm going to answer your question 2 ways. The correct answer is who knows.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's true. But
The second answer is that if you believe what the press says, then I would suggest that. I mean, if you listen to this nonsense that's out there, 98% of it will be rendered useless.
even if it's not being used,
Yes.
I mean, if you have a pack of resistors
yes.
in a bag, it'll be
Not
gone.
Resistors. No. Semiconductor devices are all
Okay.
destroyed.
Okay.
Passive
So-
resistors, capacitors, they won't be affected. And even then, it will only be devices that are responsive to electromagnetic pulses.
Right. I think that at this point, a lot of these stores would say that because there'll be a run on. I mean, you would have to go and buy components to fix things.
You won't. They won't. The replacement components would be useless.
Exactly. They'll need to remanufacture them.
They'll have to reinvent the machines to remanufacture them.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well,
Yeah.
that's only if the EMP will be global, right? If the EMP will be localized.
Well, that's why I'm
those-
saying there's several answers to this question.
Yeah.
Because, for example, if the EMP is exploded at 100 miles above the surface, it has a certain kill range. If it's at a 200 miles, it's another. But then also the intensity of the blast diminishes with the square of the distance. So it's a very complex formula.
Well,
no one really knows what's going to happen And really, who cares? I mean,
Well, the thing, I mean, my whole point here is not the scientific, but the business decision.
what's
I
the
mean,
question?
stores. No, there's no question. So stores like that, like Best Buy, like any would
Out of
at that
business.
point would say, oh,
No,
we should
no
have
way to
done.
recover.
No.
No way to recover under the doomsday scenario that some people advocate.
Well,
But
they can build their walls with lead, right?
Oh yeah. Well.
well, maybe. But the EPA's banned lead, so what are you going to do?
Exactly.
You need kryptonite.
You kryptonite or plastic straws.
All right. Forget what I said. Never mind.
So anyway, I mean, but what Gall was saying is right, and this is what I try to talk to the loonies in my circles about. In that, for one thing, that if there's an EMP, the likelihood that it is worldwide is just ridiculous. The idea is that, let's say that there's an EMP that's exploded over New York, I hope, and the people in the government would then fire a missile from California to take out anything that's headed that way, unless they can do exactly at the same time and all that crap. So I mean, I spend my time worrying about more important things like plastic straws.
Yep. All right. Do you have Windows 10 on all your machines?
Yes.
Everybody. Yes.
Well, only
Okay.
the Windows machines.
All right. Well, no. I mean, if you don't, Microsoft has price increases in store for some of its Office and Windows customers as of October 1st this year. In a July 25 blog post, Microsoft officials acknowledged the coming increases. Office 2019, the next on-premises version of Office client and servers, which Microsoft is currently testing ahead of its launch later this year, will see increase of 10% over current on-premises prices. The price increase is for commercial business customers and will affect Office client, Enterprise client, client access license, core client access, and server products. So there was also a word in there about Windows 10, which is not in this article. Or maybe I saw the 10%. And I thought it was. But so they're raising prices.
According to Microsoft blog post, the price of Windows 10 Enterprise will be raised to match the price of Windows 10 Enterprise E3, which I have no idea what that means.
Wait a second. Are you saying that Enterprise is less than Windows 10?
No, I think what they're saying is that the price increase is targeted at enterprise users and not at on home users, and that's also true for the Office licenses.
Yeah. So now's the time to buy. And talking about Windows 10, also here, the next semi-annual update to Windows 10 will use machine learning models to make automatic rebooting for updates a bit less annoying. A bit less. It says currently Windows will detect if you're away from your system, mouse and keyboard idle and not playing video or anything comparable, and performs its reboots during those idle moments. However, at the moment, the system doesn't distinguish between briefly stepping away from the machine to grab a cup of coffee and being away for hours because you've left the office or gone to bed. This has provoked some amount of complaining due to updates interrupting work. With the new predictive system, Windows will try to distinguish between these two cases and it will avoid the update if the absence is expected to be short.
And it will
And-
send the behavior patterns back home.
I mean, if you're opening your spreadsheet and you updating it, and a phone call comes, and you have to leave for an hour to go to a meeting, and it's on, and somebody like Windows decide, okay, I'm going to reboot, you may lose a bunch of stuff. Now, yeah, they auto-save and all this and that, but it's not that simple to get it back, even though you have a way to do it. And a lot of other programs that you may leave. I mean, I know people that leave 15 programs open on the computer when they leave the office. Ridiculous, but they do.
What about people that remote into computers?
That's that. These
my
are
work-
people that remote in.
My work computer's always got 20 things open because I remote
Yeah.
into it and use it.
Right. And what happens if it loses power and reboots? It depends what's open on the other side.
Yeah.
You can lose. I don't know how they're going to do that.
They're just talking about how to make something that already happens, right,
Yeah, a little better.
a little better.
Yeah.
They're not saying we're gonna stop rebooting, right?
I
But they are saying we are gonna try to reboot when you're less busy. That's all.
yeah.
I mean, as long as they'll give it as a feature that you can switch on and switch off, right? That would be great. But the problem with updates today is that there are certain updates that they do not give you the choice.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, they knew exactly how to annoy us and nag us and pop-ups to update to Windows 10.
Yeah.
Or the Windows 7 was 7. No, 10.
10.
Why can't they do
Probably.
it now? Why can't they just come up with pop-up if it's, let's say, start with every 6 hours a pop-up, hey, you need to install those updates, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and then maybe go to every 5 hours and every 4 hours. Sooner or later, it's not that nagging because now you know that you have to do this. And then you say, okay, you know what? Now I've got the time. I'm going to close everything down, and I'm going to do it because I'm going to go to lunch.
Yeah.
But in any case, to do it automatically, nah. I would have a big problem with it. And what happened to that updated only between these hours and these hours? Doesn't Windows 10 has that thing about?
Yeah, it does that. But you need to set it up.
I
And
understand.
probably most people, yeah. Now, if you say only do the updates at 2 a.m., but every night at midnight you switch off your PC.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it's stuck, right?
True. Then
So-
Then I would have no problem with you nagging me.
And it does it.
It doesn't. It will finally do it on its own without you even aware. It doesn't nag you. It says, hey, you know what? You need to update. Hey, you know what? You need to update.
I think the nagging has become just a lot more subtle, and people just ignore it. But yeah, it's still there.
I don't know. It just seems like something.
One thing I find interesting, though, I work with my media server. NAS is Linux based,
Mhm.
and I've never had a single instance where it asked me to reboot.
Right.
I had rebooted a few times because of issues that I played too deep, too much, but no updates, and I updated manually and regularly.
Mhm.
Although I could probably set it to automatic. I just like to see what's being updated so I can
Right.
review it. The kernel, which is the core, right, has been updated several times, and it has not requested a reboot. So I don't know. It's like I think it's time they sat down, and instead of figuring out how to reboot the system when you're not looking, right? to figure out how to stop rebooting the system altogether.
Yeah, they need to learn from Linux. I mean, when I watch the monitor and I see that the server has been up for 832 days, you know,
Yeah.
gee, why can't Windows do the same thing?
You got to update.
Hmm?
You got to update. You got to get your new version of
Well-
Skype. You got to update.
Yeah,
Got to have the latest and
let's not
greatest.
talk Skype. Let's not talk Skype.
Well, I found a nerve.
Yeah, but even bad publicity is publicity.
We should just move to Mac. They've got all their problems are solved.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
where
yeah.
I'm going.
I had an interesting experience this morning. I get some software. I'm not into games and things like that, so it's like Office and Microsoft Windows 10. I've bought from a particular website. I shan't name them because the reason I'm saying that is they had an affiliate program which they've started now. I thought, oh, that's good, because somebody recently said to me, like, a couple of hours before, I need to get Windows 10 64-bit. And I thought, oh, good, I could do that on the affiliate program. Oh, my goodness, talk about complicated. They love telling you about it, but how you get into it and how you actually add somebody to the affiliate program, nobody knows. I went into the help live chat and they said, hello, how may we help you? I said, yes, can you tell me what the link is to add an item to the list so that I can send an affiliate link to a friend? Oh, can you call this person on Skype? I said, no, I don't use Skype, sorry. Oh, well, can you connect to the group on Facebook? No, I don't do Facebook, sorry. Oh, I can't help you then. I said, well, okay, I won't bother referring anybody with an affiliate link. Thanks for your help. How ridiculous is that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. If people are going to put something into place on a website on the internet, make sure it's working and that the tech support team know what to do for a simple question like that. It's just insane.
Well, and they still have a job.
And they still get paid. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yep.
I wanted to go over something briefly. Tish reminded me of it, and I'm glad she did because of some discoveries that I had. Probably everybody else already knows this stuff, but some discoveries I had last week and a half ago with Adobe Acrobat in creating PDF files. Without getting into all the details, someone created a very important PDF file where the formatting is critical. It is submitted to a court. If the formatting is not correct, the court will reject the filing. If they reject the filing after the deadline, you're SOL. It's very important to get the formatting right. That includes the margins, the font, the type spacing, everything. When I opened this particular file, which was in state court, it looked terrible. It was in bold Arial when it was supposed to be in, I forget which font, Century. Yeah, Century, which is an acceptable font. Bold Arial is not an acceptable font. I don't think the court is going to reject the file, but it's kind of embarrassing considering that the document came from this major law firm.
Mm-hmm.
Started doing some investigating to figure out why. I opened it in Chrome on my computer. It looked terrible. I opened it in Acrobat. It looked fine. I opened it in Firefox and it looked fine. So it's only the built-in PDF reader in Chrome that was having a problem with this particular file. I started doing some investigating, sorry, as to why this was a problem. What I found out is that when you create a PDF, if you use a font that is not recognized by the reader,
Right.
then the reader is going to make its best guess and substitute a font.
Mm-hmm.
It may, in fact, substitute a Arial bold when that's the farthest thing from reality as to what was intended. It turns out that certainly with Acrobat and probably with most other programs that create PDF files, there is a way to embed the fonts. So if you use a font like Century to create a document, and you open that document in another browser that does not have Century on the computer, it's going to substitute. But if it's embedded, it will use the embedded font out of that file and it will display normally. I thought, well, it's a limited problem based on these few court files and so forth. But then I also sent the document to my Kindle. When it went to my Kindle, it opened in normal Arial, which most people wouldn't pay any attention to. But I said, wait a minute, this document was written in Century. Why is the Kindle not showing it a PDF correctly? I did some experimentation. I found ways, which it's not easy to do, but I found ways in Acrobat to embed the font. I clicked on embed. It generated some errors and said, here are some fonts we can't embed because we don't know where they are. We don't know how to use them. None of them, if it's a non-embeddable font, it'll give you an error too, but none of these was non-embeddable. But then I sent it over to my PDF. When I did that, it opened perfectly and the font and everything was correct. So Tish says she uses Acrobat Pro DC. If you go into the properties of the document, you can click on the font tab to see which fonts were used in the document. And that's true, and you should do that if you're sharing documents, but also be aware that you could be using a font, and Century is actually a very popular font. It's a nice looking font, not Century Gothic, it's Century. If you put, I can tell you from firsthand experience, Tish, if you create a document and use Century, there are some people who are not going to be able to see it in the format that you wrote it, meaning that you have to be very, very careful. And this is, and of course, one way around it is print to PDF so that it's a purely graphic document instead of a text-based document. And that works, but in some cases you want to send a text-based document, which is what courts require. And yeah, it's great if you know how to use it, but I just want to caution you that if you're not careful, you can get an undesirable result. And that's all I wanted to say about it.
Why is the embed font not a standard default?
I don't understand,
It
Steve.
is.
I had exactly the same question. Why isn't there is a check block in there that says embed fonts, but for some reason, and it maybe I haven't figured it out. It may be that I'm not doing something correctly, but when you embed the font, there are two issues with embedding fonts. The first is that if you use a font that you have to purchase, it's not going to embed. That's a copyright violation.
Right.
The second issue is that it makes every file bigger.
Huge.
So your embedding has two options. Do you want to embed just the characters that you have used in this font, or do you want to embed the entire font set? To me, I haven't seen a big difference between the two. I would, if it's a normally provided or a common or a what would be called a system font, then it's not going to normally be embedded because that's on every Times New Roman is on everyone's computer. Well, it may or may not be on everyone's computer, in that Steve may, for example, detest sans serif fonts without serifs on it. So he takes those off his computer because he wants everything in Times New Roman, Century, what have you. You send him a document that you created in PDF, and you said, don't embed Arial. Everyone has that. He gets the document, opens it, and it's not in Arial because it's not on his computer. All I'm saying is that if the formatting is critical, you need to take the extra steps to learn how to embed those fonts. And my recommendation is stick with the very standard fonts unless you have a reason for doing so. Unless you have, like Tish apparently is doing a lot of high-end stuff in it. She may have reasons like advertising, brochures, sales, marketing things. She may have very good reasons for including fonts, and she probably knows everything I'm talking about. But all I would say is you need to make sure that when the other side opens it, it looks exactly like you want it to look.
Well, that's the whole idea of PDF, wasn't it? That it was interchangeable between machines, but that's only if you use a standard font. As soon as you want to use something that's a bit fancy, that you're going to run into problems.
Well, another place you run into problems is whenever you get into a corporate environment and the company may have 4, 5, 10, 20 fonts that it purchased and put on everyone's computer. You create an internal document with some some paid font. You send it to your coworker. They open it, looks fine. Everybody, management looks at it. They say it's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, this is great. Send it off to the media. You email it to the media and they open it and it doesn't look anything like it looked on your computer. It's just a gotcha there that you really need to be careful about if it's important that you maintain that consistency. And in this particular case, this law firm, I let them know what the problem was. The attorney contacted the IT department and their response was, so? And when I heard about it, my response to the attorney who told me about it was, that's sad. That's not why you need IT people.
Yeah, well, it's. I mean, to put it in a simpler way is, don't stand in front of a crowd and speak in a language that nobody else understands, because they won't understand what you're talking about. So
there's no standard.
Well, I mean, there you can put the earphone on, and there is a translator that will tell you. But if you're talking a language that there is no translation for, what is he saying? Yeah.
Speaking of not understanding language, I'm not really good at some of these things. I want to read something to you, and I know this is going to be hard to hear, but it's too much to post in. I think it's too much to post in chat. But I have a tool bought from Lowe's, manufactured by Swanson. Not the food people, the tool people. There's a problem with this tool. It is rusted. The advertising says, oh, it's treated and everything's fine. It's not going to rust. It's been inside a controlled environment. There's nothing I've done to cause it. And other tools, including other tools by Swanson sitting right beside it, have not rusted. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a manufacturer's defect. So I look up the warranty. And I'm going to read, there are two parts here. Let me read the first part. The first part says, Swanson warrants its products to be free from defects in material and workmanship for 1 year from the date of the original purchase. No damages or other remedies available. That's part one. The next sentence says, for details to make a claim under this limited lifetime guarantee, please contact Swanson at this number.
Lifetime or 1 year?
Well, they're
just throw it away.
They're expecting it to last a year. That's what they deem to be lifetime, 1 year.
Well, I mean, I don't understand these legal things very well, but see,
yeah,
1 year, this limited lifetime guarantee. I know it's the IT department who didn't update the website.
Of course. No, marketing.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, I'll throw it. At least it's not expensive. I'll throw it in a trash can.
Oh, you can use a stone. Yeah, I mean, that's not a steel brush to clean it up and glue it.
Yeah, I'll let you can do that. I think it's
So
$10.
early last year, YouTube received a design refresh with Google's own Polymer library, which enabled quicker feature development for the platform. Now, a Mozilla executive is claiming that Google has made YouTube slower on Edge and Firefox by using this framework. In a thread on Twitter, Mozilla's technical program manager has stated that YouTube's Polymer redesign relies heavily on the deprecated Shadow DOM version 0 API, which is only available in Chrome. This, in turn, makes the site around 5 times slower on competing browsers such as Microsoft Edge and Mozilla Firefox. Now, did they do it on purpose?
Well,
again,
what do you think?
Again, who knows? Come on.
What do you think, Amnon?
I don't know. I mean, I don't see anything slower on Firefox. If anything, I see stuff going faster. But I haven't used... What?
It's never on purpose. But not fixing it, that's on purpose, usually.
Well, all right. It's very, very disturbing if that's...
Well, I wouldn't say... I'll change it from on purpose by choice. It is, let's put it this way. it's never on purpose to make the competition slower, right?
Yeah.
But if the competition is slower, it is not a priority to fix it once it's noticed. So it's all semantics, right? But it's the overall, it's the same experience to the end users. So
All
it is
right.
what
I
it
mean,
is.
I can. Yeah, it's fine. Now, so who amongst you has an iPhone?
I
I know
Mike has one.
Nick does and Mike does. So listen to this article. Apple's iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus, and the $1,000 iPhone 10 trail the latest smartphone from Samsung Electronics and Alphabet Google in download speeds, according to data from Ookla. These are the people that do speed tests. Measuring the speed of an internet connection with its speediest app and website. That's what they do. Faster internet data means that users can load websites and start watching movies more quickly. So they're saying that smartphone from Samsung and Alphabet Google, which are most of the stuff out there, are faster. Now, how does that make you feel, Matt? Mike, don't cry. It's slow.
What am I? I'm trying to use. By the way,
It's interesting.
I have an 8-ohm resistor.
And if we saw the stats, we'll probably see that it's 0.7 seconds.
Who's got time to do all this stuff?
I know. So, Nick, what did YouTube do to their aspect ratio?
Oh, finally. I don't know why it took them so long. So 4:3 videos on YouTube now show up as anamorphic. By default, the player itself is anamorphic, which is fantastic. Meaning that the video plays back at the video embed itself is larger because they've gotten rid of the 16:9 black bars on either side. So if you find an old 4:3, it's got to be uploaded 4:3. There's plenty of people that shot video 4:3, encoded at 16:9, and then uploaded. Those videos will stay the same, but an older YouTube video from 2000, I don't know,
SD,
8, 2009
SD that are-
SD 4:3 will play back an SD 4:3 now. Well, it'll play back at whatever resolution, but it'll play back 4:3.
Right. They're
cool.
going to play it in the same resolution that it was encoded at. There's nothing they can do to people that shoot with their video with their phone and hold it vertically, is there?
But they can make the player vertical. But yeah, I mean, I just pulled up a video right now, and it just looks good not having the black bars on either side of it.
Yeah, and it's bigger.
Yeah, the embed itself can be bigger because
It's just like on your
the aspect
TV, I
ratio.
guess, when you go on the TV and you stretch it and then you zoom it, so the old videos look full screen and not out of whack.
Looks the same for me. I went to a very old video.
Do you have? Is it black?
I have black bars. on the
Letterbox?
side.
It is.
Let me
what browser are you using?
Firefox.
Try it in Chrome and see what happens.
Oh, maybe they made the changes there first.
Well, they didn't say that it was in
I've only seen it. That's why I'm saying I've only
Chrome,
seen
but
it in
that's
Chrome.
interesting.
And post the video in chat if you wouldn't mind. I'd be
Actually, they're
curious to try it.
saying match. YouTube is now adjusting the YouTube player size match videos native aspect ratio. This is a big deal and very much welcome. And they provided some before and after screenshots. And on Friday, and acknowledged that we launched this update on mobile a while back, both Android and iOS. So this change also aligns the desktop and mobile viewing experiences. So they don't say which.
I see that video in an anamorphic player, Gal. No bars on either side.
I just tried it in Chrome as well.
Maybe it was rolling out. I don't know how the rollout
Yeah,
works.
probably. Well, let's see. No.
I tried it for the first time Thursday. Or I saw it for the first time on Thursday.
Yeah. Okay. My account. I did an incognito on Chrome.
Mm-hmm.
It's the aspect ratio is correct.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so it has to do with the account. But over here, so Firefox, I'm on a temporary container, which is basically a private session.
Yeah.
It was 16 by 9, but 9 by 16. But on the Chrome in an incognito session, it was as you described. Okay, good to know.
Well, maybe. I mean, this just happened last week, so
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, it might be rolling out.
Yeah, they may fix it this
Well,
week or whatever.
Knowing the way things work, there's probably already a Firefox add-on that forces anamorphic players for anyone who wants it or something like that. I'll search for that.
So day before yesterday, I switched my Firefox that by default it'll do the container tab. What am I losing?
You're losing tracking.
Okay, but is there any downside to that to make it the default?
I can't find any downside. I've been
either.
using it for a while. I mean, the only downside is some sites you want to return to, and those you can. Yeah, if there's an add-on called containerized.
No, never mind. I don't want to have
the basic add-on. The basic add-on.
Yeah.
Right. The multi-account tab containers. When you add that, it has the ability of configuring sites that you want to go to specific containers.
That's correct. That's
right?
correct. You could.
So that solves that dilemma. So if there are sites that you know that you always return to, not only by choice, right? So I do it for work sites. Everything that has to do at work when I work.
Yeah.
My browser, all of the sites that require the single sign-on of the company or something like that, all of those are in the work container, and it doesn't matter if I type the URL on a temporary container, it'll switch to the work container. So
yeah,
it's
nice.
See zero downside. Yeah,
it's nice. Absolutely nice.
One downside.
What?
It's searches in Google.
Yeah.
Right. Your history isn't kept there.
Okay.
So there are people who like the Google history feature. So they're gonna lose that, right? But that's it. Yeah.
I don't look at that.
Yeah.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we were talking in the beginning about all these, about Skype and everybody tries to look like the other. Okay. So guess what? LinkedIn has been trying to make its business networking platform more like Facebook of late, with features like presence and Google-like smart replies. Now it's introducing voice messages, just like Facebook, and Facebook owned WhatsApp. I don't understand why they have to look like the others. Do they think that people will use it more and stop using WhatsApp and leave it, or people from Facebook will come to LinkedIn? I mean, come on. It's a completely different group of people.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It seems like these companies are being sucked in by some kind of.
I mean, they are. They're being misled isn't the word to use, but they're everybody's trying to compete for the same user base.
Yeah, well, I don't know that They maybe I don't think LinkedIn is trying to go after the Facebook users. Maybe Facebook is trying to go after LinkedIn because of the. I mean, I would think that LinkedIn is more of a business
It is, yeah.
user base, and Facebook would love them to go over there. But LinkedIn, I guess, worked for people. Yeah, I'm on it. Do I ever go in there? Only when I get a notice that somebody wants me to add them and I know them. I guess I'm not using the tool. It's like having a hammer on the wall, but you never use nails, so that you don't use the hammer. I don't know. In memory, memories. While the global DRAM market still remains robust currently, the recent capacity ramps by Micron Technology and the planned kickoff of commercial production by China-based Fujian integrated circuit and Inotron memory, previously known as Hefei Changzhen, could lead to oversupply for the memory in 2019. Taiwanese newspaper DigiTimes reported. Oversupply is always good for us. We can buy it. We can buy memory for a lot cheaper. And there were times when you saw big dip, and then it takes off again because they want to make money, just like oil, I guess. But if you need to look forward to next year, if you want to get a bunch of memory, just buy it.
If only the same thing would happen with the video card market.
Yeah, a video card are slowly coming down. Slowly, very just like gas. Just like gas, absolutely. Now, this I really don't understand here about Mozilla Firefox. Mozilla engineers are preparing to remove one of Firefox browser's oldest features, its built-in support for RSS and Atom feeds, and inherently the live bookmarks feature. All Firefox users are probably well accustomed to its features, albeit not many have ever used it. This feature powers the browser's ability to detect when users are accessing an RSS/Atom feed and then show a special page that lets them subscribe to a feed with a custom feed reader or the browser's built-in live bookmarks feature. Why remove it?
It's a feature.
I don't know.
Well,
I have no idea.
sounds like something that will be replaced with an extension and instead of being part of the core.
Yeah, but wasn't there some article some news that Firefox wants to do away with extensions?
No way.
Seems like I remember. Maybe Chrome.
Maybe
one of
some
them.
extensions, but not all. I mean, extensions are. It'll be interesting, but then people will stop using them. I mean, right?
Yeah.
I used to use Opera quite intensively, and they had an RSS feeder, and it was really useful because a lot of sites have got RSS feeds for the news articles and things. I've switched over to Vivaldi now, as you know, Amnon, and I've downloaded an add-on that almost mimics the original Opera, apart from one feature, but it looks pretty much the same. But I use it daily. I think it's really useful to get. I sign up to Engadget and a few other sites, and it's very useful just to get a summary. And if you want to read in a little bit further, fine, click the ad or click the article, and it takes you to it.
Yeah, Vivaldi works great, and even Mike will tell you that these days.
Good.
Right, Mike?
So far, so good. Once I got it working correctly.
Yep. Well, that's true about anything that you get new.
The point was that it was not working correctly. Most software, when you load it the first time, it just works, and Vivaldi did not. It had major issues.
Hmm.
Yeah, the new car kept on getting on the sidewalk. I mean, it would just turn to the right all the time until I learned, oh, you have to turn the steering a certain way, and then you can go straight.
Okay, well then, great. That's great, Amnon. Tell me what I was doing wrong so I can learn.
Well,
not
I
to.
mean, you learn from
Well, then tell me what I was turn the steering wheel the wrong way. Tell me
you
what I was
need. That's
wrong.
exactly it, Mike. You know that car. I mean, yeah, it's $300,000, and there's nothing wrong with it. I told you. Just need to
That's what
turn
you're not telling me. I want to know what I was doing wrong with the Vivaldi.
I don't know. I tried Vivaldi a couple of times.
and
I never got. I always felt it was a bit too slow to load, and working with it, I don't know. It had some quirks that I just couldn't go past.
Did it have you driving on the sidewalk?
No.
It was taking. I timed it the last time, but right before I installed it, it was taking 2 minutes it would load, but it was taking 2 minutes before the website was responsive.
Wow.
And so I went through this Reva uninstall, whatever it is, the thing that goes through and does a deep search and pulls everything out of the registry. I did that, downloaded the latest version, which I had already done, downloaded it again to be sure, installed it, and everything's fine. It's pretty snappy. If you haven't tried it lately, Gall, you might want to try it.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. I'm willing to try anything, at least.
it's nice.
I know
It's
you were
got a-
having problems with a 64-bit version at one time back along, Amnon. Have you got that sorted now?
I don't know. I don't know which version I'm using.
I know you'd switched to the 32-bit and it wasn't happening, but I can't remember what it was. It was months ago now.
I don't think their uninstall works well. You probably want to use these utilities that go dig deep to pull the remnants out if you've had a problem with it, because I think they probably are leaving some executables in there that are creating issues. So would be my guess.
I wonder how
Well,
the
I can
uninstaller.
tell you what feature I'm looking in a browser, and I think Vivaldi won't have that. And that is a very good sidebar for the tabs will be on the side instead of the top. I know that they had something like that, but it didn't work the way I was expecting.
They do have a sidebar that you can open and close, but I don't think the tabs go there.
No, tabs that are on top.
Yeah.
Well, I just dragged my favorites bar over to the sidebar, and that sort of moved.
I'm talking about the tabs.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, when you open another tab and another tab. So the top will
Now it
stay
screws this
clean.
up.
I use in Firefox. I use an add-on called Tree Style Tabs.
Well, it's that time again.
Heck is here.
Anything else?
Not with me.
Come on, there's got to be something else.
Get a Mac.
Nah.
Now I've made a mess on this thing, dragging crap around. I hate this stuff sometimes. Oh, I see.
What?
Never mind, I got it.
Okay.
I think.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I guess we'll just finish the show.
Okay, go for it.
You got nothing to say?
No, sir. Thanks for having me.
Nothing whatsoever?
Nope.
Okay, don't.
Make sure you know how to turn the water off to your house.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Not really.
And don't play
Okay.
with transmitters.
And don't play with transmitters.
How to turn on transmitters.
And that loud pop really is important.
Oh. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you, sir.
Mike, Gal, Steve,
Thank you.
thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye bye.
And good morning to Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook and follow our YouTube channel. Tonight at 9, you're doing the show?
9?
Tonight at 7, sorry.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
yeah, there'll be something on the air at 7. I don't know. There'll be something on.
All right. So Nick tonight is hosting Against the Norm on Wilmington Big Talker 106.7 FM. And you can listen on TuneIn anywhere in the world. See you next week, guys.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.